G'day. This is Thursday, the 21st of May 2026. Yes, my name is George and I'm delighted to present to you today's message of hope. Before any of that, I want to express my true gratitude to that one person, the 50th subscriber on my channel. You know who you are. Thank you so much. As I mentioned for the past week, I had a personal goal to reach 50 subscribers by end of last week, which was Sunday. Of course, when I got it yesterday, 3 days late, no big deal. Again, thank you so much for all the other 49 subscribers as well. Can you please help me reach more of the audience? I can help a lot more people. So subscribe, like the video and share it far and wide. Let's get on the message. Here we go. Now, I want to tell you, last week, people slept on pavements outside of Swatch stores. Swatch, you know, the people who make watches. So it wasn't just one city. It happened in Singapore, of course, New York, London, Milan, and Kuala Lumpur. Police were called in multiple locations. Obviously, fights broke out, because it just happens in those events. Some stores had to even close because the crowds turned defiant. In other words, they were a bit crazy. Now, for a watch that retails for about $400, is it really worth it? I don't know. Now, before I go any further, I want to be fair about something too. Some of those people in the queue, I suspect, had perfectly sound reasons to be there. They buy the watch at $400, flip it on the resale market for $2,000 or even $3,000. I don't know exactly how much, but they wouldn't do it at a loss. It makes sense because that's just commerce and I understand it completely. Some, again, I suspect had money to spare and simply wanted one for themselves. Others want to give one to someone they love. Yep, I understand all of that. I'm a compassionate guy. But here's the detail that stopped me cold when I read about this. The APX Swatch Royal Pop wasn't genuinely a limited edition. Yeah, did you believe that? The scarcity wasn't built into the production run at all. No, it was built instead into the feeling. Creative geniuses in the marketing department. And of course, I think the businesses behind it are brilliant. Now, I say that without a trace of sarcasm, because I'm a marketing guy too, right? They understand the writing and the wiring of human desire better than most of us understand ourselves. Yeah, you can say the same about the AI, right? And that understanding, that precise engineer understanding, of course, is exactly what Proverbs has to say about this. Oh, need to be careful I don't step on poo-poo here. I'm in the park. But first, I'm going to take you back to 1995. Oh, someone's trying to practice the golf swing. That's crazy. We're in a public park here. You nuts? Oh boy. Now, 1995. So I got distracted, but I have to look after myself, right? Okay, 1995, because I have been one step removed from that queue. The queue I've been talking about at the start. And it did cost me. I'll tell you why. I was visiting Australia and a church friend of mine in Singapore, let's call him Ken, asked if I could pick up 2 Swatch watches while I was there. All right, no harm done. They're each around $100 in those days, $95, remember? And he said he would reimburse me when I get back. We agreed before I flew off, clean and simple transactions, right? Or at least an agreement. Well, guess what? He never paid me back. Now, here's the part I have to confess. Be honest, George, there was nothing malicious about Ken. I think he was a genuinely good man, but he'd just simply forgotten. And I, who was quite the shy type in those days, never asked because I just was too embarrassed to bring that up. Too conflict avoidant to say, mate, you owe me $200 today. The weeks became months, the months became, well, let's just say I lost touch with Ken entirely now. For many, many years, long time. We weren't really that close. $200 gone, kiss it goodbye, lesson learned. Not because I chased the hype, but because I couldn't bring myself to have one uncomfortable conversation with a man that went to the same church. The good thing is, I still don't feel anything negative towards him. It was my fault. But I think about that $200 sometimes. Like a time today I had to bring it up. Because hype has a radius, right? You don't have to be in a queue to get caught in. Oh, there's a nice, I think it's a corgi. That's pretty nice. Now, by the way, if you're finding this useful, please take a moment right now and subscribe. There's more of this on this channel every single day I'm committed to for the year, and it won't cost you a cent. Oh, hello, doggy. Okay. Now, here's what Solomon wrote. And he wrote it in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13 and 14. Hello there. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. You want to see the dog? Here's the dog. Say hello. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. You hear that? Better than silver and better than gold. Oh, look, I think the corgi is coming my way. I'm going to keep recording. Solomon wasn't dismissing wealth when he wrote that, you see. You see the dog in the background? Hey, doggy, say hello. Hello there, how are you? My dog's going to be so jealous now. It's so friendly. Hey, how are you? I better get on with it. All right, what was I saying? Yeah, Solomon wasn't dismissing wealth when he wrote that. He was himself a wealthy man. He was saying, hey, when wisdom and wealth stand in the same room, you can only take one. Please, take wisdom. That's what he's saying. The gain from her is way better. Which brings me to the question about the APX Swatch launch. And that's really asking beneath their surface, isn't it? These collaborations, and this one is far from the first, are a masterclass in manufacturer design. They know what they're doing. You take a luxury name that most people can never afford, attach it to a price point most people can reach, and therefore you create a genuine scarcity of retail access while the production itself, it's not actually limited. It's not. You seed social media with footage of chaos, gets a lot of attention, a lot of eyeballs, and the footage spreads. The chaos validates itself, doesn't it? So people who had no intention of queuing began to wonder if they're missing something. Yeah, I think they do. That breathless, slightly urgent feeling that you need to act now before the window closes. It didn't arise manually. It was manufactured. Someone designed it, and they're very good at their job. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not against marketing. I'll make that clear. But you can read between the lines too. Now, I once read about a digital art project. You may have heard of it. It's called Moonbird's NFT, right? It's a collection of illustrated owls that exist only on the blockchain. Ethereum, if I recall correctly. Yeah. So tens of thousands of them. Imagine that, nothing physical, but at the peak of the frenzy surrounding it, the minimum price for the cheapest one was around $69,000. Did you get that number? $69,000 for a digital image. One you couldn't frame on a wall or hold in your hands. That's how nuts it is, I think. Yeah, I'm going to tell you the result. 18 months later, that floor price has collapsed to under $2,000 only. Digital image, same owls, but today it's a different feeling, right? I mean, hello, that is the hype cycle, isn't it? It has been running for as long as human beings have wanted to see owning the right thing. The packaging changes. I'm talking about digital art, luxury watches, limited sneakers. Yeah, but the mechanism is identical every single time. Its desire is engineered. Urgency is manufactured, and wisdom It's the only calendar program to actually work. Wisdom. You're going to hear me talk about it soon. Again, two things have shaped how I think about this, right? The first was a girl I used to go out with. Her parents gave her a Rolex for her 21st birthday. Yeah? I looked at it and I gave her a look, right? I'll be honest, it was a completely dumbfounded look. Because I asked her what was the significance about it. She explains it was one of the most expensive watch brands in the world. Yeah, I mean, being a caring guy, I had to listen, but I still wasn't impressed. I'm just a simple guy, right? Something in me simply just could not summon the feeling of the watch that was demanding. No. Needless to say, she didn't end up to be my wife. Okay. Now the second was the NFS craze I spoke about a little bit earlier. I wasn't entirely immune, mind you. I won't pretend otherwise. I bought a course to understand what was happening. Yeah, because I had genuine interest in it. There was a buzz around it. So I spent real money on it too. But when I reached the actual point of buying in, something stopped me. Right? I figured not sophisticated financial discipline, yeah? Not the superior analysis. But it was just a quiet internal resistance to paying real money for something I couldn't hold. I didn't like that too much. Something that existed only as a file on a server somewhere. Crazy, right? Well, that instinct cost me a course fee. I think it saved me considerably more. So thank God, common sense prevailed for me. So the hype cycle will return somewhere. New stuff, I believe. Always does. I don't know what the latest craze is. Just watch out for the pattern with different brand, different drop, different cues. So here's what I've concluded after watching it repeat across decades. Right, we have the Cabbage Patch dolls. That's another craze. So the question is never really whether the product is worth it. The question is what is doing the deciding. Is there wisdom? That's the clear-eyed understanding of what this costs, what it's actually for, and what the Holy Spirit is directing you towards with your time or your money. That's a good question, right? Or is it the feeling, the pull of the crowd, the fear of being a person who missed it? Is it the conviction that a window is closing before you've had time to think clearly? These are the things you've got to think about. Because that feeling didn't arrive on its own, did it? Someone put it in there. They're very clever. And they put it in there for a reason that has nothing to do with your financial flourishing. It benefits other people. Now, some of the watches that sold for $2,000 or $3,000 on resale last weekend will be listed again, I'm sure. In 6 months, perhaps. Maybe even for less. Not all of them, but some of them will hold. But somewhere there is a person right now explaining to their partner why the cost costs what it costs. And that person made a decision in a feeling, not in a wisdom. If they don't know what they're doing, that is. My friends, I'm not telling you not to buy a watch. I would never say that. Or a car, or a house, right? Or some other presents. Now that's generally not the point. I mean, some of you should buy it. Wisdom doesn't always say no, of course. Sometimes wisdom says yes, and sleep completely peacefully. Yes, it happens that way, that's life. But wisdom always asks first, because it doesn't queue through the night and borrowed urgency. No. So in summary, Ken has 2 of those watches from 1995. I assume he's still got them. Or they're in a drawer somewhere, maybe. Or in a garbage bin. Or they don't even exist at all. Yeah, I generally don't know. Not my concern. But what I know is they told the time. And that's a watch was ever asked to do, isn't it? It's just a watch. And they will have done the job just as faithfully on day one as it would 30 years later. Yes. Let me tell the scripture again. Blessed is he who finds wisdom and the one who gets understanding. For the gain from her is better than gain from silver, and her profit better than gold. Yeah. Believe it or not, those APX Swatch will tell you the hour. Proverbs will tell you something better than that. So watch out, the next hype cycle has already been planned somewhere. The queue will form again, the viral footage will spread, and the feeling will arrive right on schedule as planned. So friends, what will you be consulting when it does? And that's my message of hope for today. Again, if this channel is helping you think differently about money and faith, please, I encourage you to subscribe, tell your friends about it, give it a thumbs up. I really enjoyed today's topic. Thanks for being with me. You look after yourself, of course, and I'll see you on tomorrow's video. Take care, bye-bye.